Hey, what's going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here for the NBA main slate here on Monday. We got a solid 6-game slate. Real quick, let's currently see how we did tonight. So, if you guys watched my video, you guys know I really like the Pelicans and the Hawks game. So I stacked that up. Um, you know, there wasn't news of Karl-Anthony Towns and Wiggins yet before lock. They're going to be out. So I really didn't know for sure. And without knowing for sure, I just wanted the full-on stack. That left only one spot for Timberwolf. And one was Saric, who was a little disappointing. It was the Taj show. I mean, if you guys watched the video, I told you guys to play both cats out, but I didn't have news yet, and this Atlanta-New Orleans game was going to start, so that's why I only went with one. I did make the late night lineup though. I went with Teague, Saric, and Taj. Taj and Teague were huge. So yeah, they did really well. And then yeah, I just went with this game stack: Trae Young, Fred Jackson, Prince, Randall, Collins, Elf, AD. AD playing did hurt Randall a bit. In hindsight, I probably should have pivoted off, but 8.5. I mean, the match was so good for Randall. I don't know. Collins, I really liked him. Same with Elf. Torian Prince was kind of the last filler that I needed. So I just, wanted the full-on game stack, plugged him in there. I told you guys I liked Fred Jackson a lot too. And then Trae Young, just a little disappointing, couldn't hit a shot. So I can show you guys my other late night lineup here that cashed. I went with Teague, Taj, and Saric. So I really like that combination of all those guys out. Then Clay, Giannis. Talked about Aldridge. If I was gonna play something from that game, it was gonna be Aldridge. Played him in the late night. He was huge, 60 fantasy points. Aldridge has been great. Dennis Smith Jr. let down, of course. Can never trust a Nick. And Josh Jackson, that was the filler. So, missed the cash in the main, but hit it in the late. So, not a bad night. And yeah, 6-game slate. I'm gonna kind of sound like a broken record here. This is the third time now, but I am all about one game here, and that's Sacramento, Washington. Now there are some appealing plays in these other games, but Sacramento, Washington, I'm leaning right now towards game stacking that game again. That's gonna be 3 straight here where I really like one game on the slate. So Harden here, 11-4. The matchup's pretty good here against Charlotte. He just had an off night against Dallas. Shot the ball 7-25. Got in foul trouble. So he did 35 fantasy points. It's really low for Harden, but I would not be worried. I do expect him to bounce back with a pretty solid game. Obviously, he has probably the highest floor of anyone on the slate. So Harden seems pretty safe here, 11-4. And then Westbrook. So this OKC Utah game. Both these teams do not like each other. They've been going back and forth. In like really appealing games. So I don't mind Westbrook at all here at 10.8. He's going to play 35 plus minutes in a close game. This one should stay close, so I don't mind Westbrook at all. Kyrie here at 8.9. He's been playing well. The matchup's good against the Clippers, but if everyone's going to be healthy for Boston, it's just kind of a stay away from me. Then you got Donovan Mitchell. Really like him at 8.4. We already got Rubio news. Rubio's going to be out. So we got point Donovan Mitchell. Played 39 minutes last time out. This guy's going to be aggressive. He's going to shoot the ball a ton. His assists are going to go up. Obviously, he's going to be running the point a good amount. So I really like Donovan Mitchell here at 8.4. Kemba at 8.1. I think kind of goes forgotten on the slate, but does have upside. I think the flocks are obviously going to go to Donovan Mitchell because he is a great play, but Kemba I think goes pretty low owned. But he's worth a look there at 8.1. Kemba does have 50, 60 fantasy point upside. D'Angelo Russell at 8K. It's just tough, man. Like, I hate targeting any Nets. Him and Dinwiddie if I was going to play one, but I just don't think I could do it on the slate. Then we got Fox. All about this game. You can't get Washington. I love targeting players against Washington. Same thing as Sacramento. Sacramento doesn't play a whole lot of defense either. So this is the best of both worlds here. Both these teams don't play a whole lot of defense, play at high, fast pace. So Fox, 33, 35, 37. The minutes are creeping up there. The price is still playable here at 7.3. The matchup's so good, so I do like Fox a lot. Chris Paul, I think, is okay here at 7.1. Charlotte, obviously not a bad matchup. So I think he's okay, but personally, I think I would just rather play Fox over him. Lou Williams, I expect him to go pretty low owned here. Obviously, the matchup not the best against Boston, but no matter what, this guy's basically matchup proof. He's going to shoot the ball a ton, so he has upside. He has 50 fantasy point upside whenever he takes the court, and I think he goes really low owned tonight. So I don't mind Lou Williams as a low owned GPP target. Satoransky, really like him. The minutes, what I really like here: 41, 37, 41 minutes. The matchup against the Kings, you can't beat that. I really like Satoransky again here at 5.8. Let's see. Reggie Jackson, but not seen enough minutes. He has been playing good, but I just don't think I could do it on the slate. Okay, let's move on to shooting guard. Beal, really like him. He was low owned against Minnesota, put up 67 fantasy points. Now he's got a matchup against the Kings. This guy's just going to shoot the ball a ton. He's going to play 40 minutes. I really like Beal here. I know the price is 9.7 is feels like a lot to pay, but I think I'm going to do it here with Beal. He's been great. The matchup's so good, so I do really like Beal. I already talked about Donovan Mitchell, like him a lot as well. Buddy Hield, same thing. I want a lot of exposure to this game. Buddy Hield, 36, 35, 38, 36 minutes. Shot the ball 19, 18, 19, 22 times. This guy's being really aggressive. He's shooting the ball a ton. He's getting some boards. He even picks up some assists. So not really scoring dependent. He is filling out the stat sheet in other ways too. So Buddy Hield, I do like him a decent amount here. Joe Ingles here, 5.9 with no Rubio. The minutes creeping up there, and this guy fills up the stat sheet. OKC's playing at a really fast pace. So Joe Ingles, I definitely think is a pretty solid play here at 5.9. Batum at 5.7. The thing that I like about it is his minutes. He was early in the season, he really was seeing inconsistent minutes, but now 42, 39, 39, 37 minutes. They're going to need his defense to guard Harden. So I think Batum's a pretty solid play here at 5.7K. Bogdanovich, so I like the buy low here. I know he hasn't really been good lately. 3 of 15, 4 of 11, 5 of 9, 2 of 9. He's gotten into some foul trouble. The matchup's so good. I expect 30, possibly even 35 minutes in a really good matchup. So I kind of like the buy low on Bogdan. I think some people will be off him, the box score watchers, but I don't mind him at all here. I really don't see a whole lot down here, so then we can move on to small forward. Paul George, I think goes pretty low on the slate, but again, this OKC Utah matchup's been pretty appealing. Both these teams don't like each other. They've been pretty entertaining games so far. So Paul George at 9.5, certainly don't mind him. Personally, I'm probably not going to go there, but I think he goes pretty low on the slate. Kawhi, they rested him Sunday, so I do expect him to play. If he plays again, Toronto, it's probably just going to be a blowout. They're going to blow him out. But if Kawhi sits, that's when I would consider playing a Raptor or two. Let's see. So Ariza here at 6K. Again, I wanted a lot of exposure to this game. He did put up a pretty big game here against Minnesota. Put up 41 fantasy points. His minutes seem pretty secure. He's going to play 35 or so minutes. So I have no issue with Trevor Ariza. Same thing with kind of Harrison Barnes. I feel like Harrison Barnes and Ariza, kind of the same player, wings that don't have huge upside, but play a lot of minutes, and the matchup's really good. So I don't mind Harrison Barnes and Ariza. They're not going to be my favorite targets from this game, but I think they're both okay. Jabari, he's been really good off the bench here. The thing I like too is the minutes. He's playing right around 25 minutes or so. He's being aggressive when he's out there. Obviously, the matchup's really good. So 5.4K, I do like Jabari Parker. Let's see. Kuruks, but I'm probably not going to go there against Detroit. Not the best matchup here for him. So I think it's time to hop off that train. I think that is about it. All right, let's move on to power forward. So Blake Griffin here. It just seems too cheap. Now, I'm not big into playing the Detroit bigs, but the matchup is, it's always been a thing to target bigs against Brooklyn. So Andre and Blake both seem underpriced. So I would not mind taking a shot on one of the bigs today. If I had to lean towards one, it probably would be Blake Griffin, just because he's 8.3K is just so cheap for Blake Griffin. So I do think he is a pretty solid play here. Kevin Love, does he have upside? Yeah, the matchup not the best against Toronto, but he does have 50 fantasy point upside. But I'm probably not going to go that way. I would probably lean towards playing Blake Griffin for 600 more. Siakam, only if Kawhi does miss again, but I do expect him to be back. Let's see, Bobby Portis. So I talked about him. I liked him against Minnesota. Put up 41 fantasy points. This guy's kind of been inconsistent, but the matchup is just so good here against Sacramento, where I do like Bobby Portis quite a bit at 5.9. If you want the low-owned pivot off of him, it is Thomas Bryant, who, in GPPs, there is a possibility, Bobby Portis couldn't foul trouble, but you could always play Thomas Bryant. I kind of said that last time out. But, when Thomas Bryant gets minutes, he can be really productive. So 4.1K, I don't think he's the worst play in the world. Let's see, okay. For Reed, so this is interesting. He said he's going to play. He'd been out for a little bit with a hip injury. So if he's going to play, start, not be limited, I wouldn't mind Fareed here at 4.8. Would seem a little too cheap. If he comes off the bench, I probably won't go there. So I'm going to wait for news on if, Houston's going to start Fareed or not. Jeff Green, yeah, I mean, it's just like, he's going to play 30 minutes. Can he have a big game? Yeah, but there's just other players I prefer more on the Washington side. Now we got Bielitsa here at 4.2, so this is an interesting play. With Bagley out, he's played 24, 30, and 29 minutes. Obviously this guy has huge upside when a shot is falling. I'd only consider him if Bagley's out. If Bagley's out, I think Bielitsa, would play right around 25 or 30 minutes at 4.2K. That just seems too cheap, so I would like him quite a bit if Bagley's out. And let's move on to center. So I already talked about Blake Andre. I think it's perfectly fine if you want to go there. I'm probably not, but he does have 50, 60 fantasy point upside in this matchup against Brooklyn, so certainly don't mind him. I'll go Bear at 7.8. Yeah, I think he's solid, but it's just there's other plays right on his price range that I prefer more, so I'm probably not going to go there. Capella, I think certainly fine there at 7K, but probably not for me on the slate. Let's see. So now we got Willie Cauley-Stein. So this is contingent on if Bagley misses. If Bagley plays, I'm probably going to stay away from Cauley-Stein. But if Bagley misses again, Cauley-Stein at 5.7. Should play right around 30 minutes. Washington, one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. I think Cauley-Stein is way too cheap here if Bagley does miss. So, Willie Cauley-Stein and Bielitsa get a huge boost if Bagley misses. I would definitely consider playing both of those guys if Marvin Bagley is out. Currently, also is questionable. If Bagley plays, I'd assume they limit him to like 20 minutes or so. Can he get you there in 20 minutes? Yeah. But I probably wouldn't take the shot in his first game back. Jarrett Allen at 4.8 is interesting. Detroit runs big. So, I'd assume he'd play closer to 30 minutes in this one. I don't mind him at 4.8. Like I said, I think they're going to need, his big body to play, more minutes. So I think 25, 30 minutes is not out of the realm for Jarrett Allen there. Kaminsky, he's been good as a cheap value play. Now he's 4.4K. I think it's okay, but I just think there are better, cheaper plays on the board. Ante Zizic here. So we got Larry Nance is out. If he's going to start, I think you could possibly take a shot, but yeah, I would only really consider him if he does start. And lastly, I'll bring up is Ed Davis. I know not the most appealing play here, but 3-point, basically min price. Detroit runs big. I'd assume Ed Davis maybe picks up a few extra minutes, maybe 20 to 25. I know definitely he has a low floor, but I just thought I'd bring him up. I think like 3.2 is too cheap for him. So if you really need a cheap guy, I wouldn't mind Ed Davis there. So yeah, again, I think that's about it. Really, really like the Sacramento-Washington game. I'm going to try to get as much exposure to this game as possible. Toronto-Cleveland, probably stay away from me. If Kawhi's out, then I'll consider probably probably would be like Siakam would be my first guy that I would play on Toronto side. But if they're fully healthy, it's just a cross-off for me. The Detroit, Brooklyn, Blake and Andre for me for sure. Personally, if I had to pick one, it would be Blake, just because he's cheaper. On the Brooklyn side, I'm probably not going to play anyone. If I was, it would be a shot on D'Angelo Russell or Dinwiddie, but I don't think you need to go there in the slate. Charlotte, Houston, Batum seems pretty appealing. Kemba, you obviously could do. He's going to go low owned on the Houston side. Harden obviously has a high floor. CP3 is all right. For Reed, if he does start. OKC, Utah, Westbrook and Paul George certainly fine. I have no issue with either of those guys. On the Utah side, I really like Donovan Mitchell. I didn't talk about Royce O'Neal. Let me go to Royce really quick. He picked up a start, played some decent minutes with no Rubio, but I don't think you need to go there on the slate there at 3.7. It's Donovan Mitchell for me. Joe Ingles also I do like. And then Boston Clippers, probably a cross-off. If Boston's fully healthy, they're just a deep team. So on the Clipper side, if I was going to play someone, it would be Lou Williams for sure. I think goes really low owned, but he does have upside anytime he takes the court. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, please like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section down below. It's also important to follow me on Twitter. It will be in the description below. I'll give my thoughts on more news comes out throughout the day, and I'll be back for another video on Tuesday, so I'll see you guys then.